My brother called me useless at Mom's birthday, so I pulled the paperwork and took the whole product. I spent 13 years turning my mom's little computer repair shop into Cuban technologies, and I did it because I was the one who stayed. While my brother Carl went to New York for a fancy MBA, I was in the back of the shop at night, taking cheap programming classes and building software between repairs. Our customers kept asking for an easy way to track parts and stock, so I coded a simple inventory program and sold it for a price small shops could afford. Mom thought it was risky, but the first month we landed 5 clients, then 20, then more every week. I quit school 1 semester early because I was working non-stop and the product was taking off. Within a few years, the repair shop was gone, and we were doing software and support for bigger companies. When the money got real, Carl came back home like he'd been waiting for the finish line. He walked in smiling and said, "Time for me to lead." Mom loved hearing that. She made him co-CEO with me because he understands business. I tried to play along because I figured he'd handle meetings and I'd keep building the product. Instead, he started cutting me out. Meetings happened without me. Decisions got made, then I'd get an email saying, "FYI, we're doing this now." He gave interviews and talked like he built the company, while I was the one fixing bugs at 2 in the morning and calming angry clients. Anytime I complained, Mom would say, "Stop being sensitive. Carl's just confident." By the time we were making around $150 million a year, I was still the person holding the whole thing together, but I was treated like the help. Then Mom's 60th birthday party came. Carl rented a hotel ballroom and invited clients, investors, and a bunch of people who wanted to be seen. Halfway through dinner, he stood up with a mic and said, "The board agrees we need unified leadership." I felt my stomach drop because nobody told me there was a vote. He stared right at me and said, "Some people are better in technical roles." Then he smiled and said, "Frankly, you're worthless in today's business world. It's time to step aside." The room went quiet, and every head turned toward me. I looked at Mom, waiting for her to stop him. She nodded along, smiling like this was a proud moment. My dad kept his eyes on his plate, hands trembling, so I did the only thing I could do without giving them a scene. I stood up, walked to Mom's table, set my wrapped gift in front of her, and left. I didn't slam a door. I didn't say a word. I went home and spent the night going through paperwork. Not feelings. Paper. Contracts, licenses, vendor accounts, patents. Back when it was just me writing code in the shop, I'd filed the software under my name because it was faster and cheaper, and everyone said it didn't matter. It mattered. Most client licenses were signed through my personal agreements. The support tools and vendor deals were also under my accounts because I was the one who always signed. By sunrise, I knew one thing. They had the office and the company name, but I owned what the company sold. At 6 in the morning, I sent one email to our entire client list. I said there was leadership restructuring and that all licenses and support agreements would be reviewed. So for now, they should contact CEO Carl Cuban directly. Then I emailed the dev team and said, "I'm starting a new company. If you want to keep building the product you built, call me today." After that, I sent termination notices to the vendors I hired. I changed the passwords on the systems tied to my accounts because I wasn't going to be blamed for outages I didn't control anymore. Then I put my phone down and waited. The fallout hit fast. Carl walked into the office and found his calendar full of urgent calls he didn't set. The receptionist was close to tears because clients were yelling. Someone from finance emailed me, "Where are the license files?" like I was still on duty. By noon, over 60 clients had threatened to cancel in writing. Clients called the office asking who owned the software and who could legally support it. Carl couldn't answer, so they threatened to pause payments or walk. Support tickets piled up because the team leads couldn't even access the tools. By mid-morning, the whole 12-person dev team had quit and left with me. Investors demanded emergency calls. Mom rang me over and over, going from angry to scared in the same voicemail. I didn't pick up. That night, close to midnight, there was a hard knock on my apartment door. Carl was standing there, suit wrinkled, face pale, trying to breathe like he'd been running. He said, "Please, we can fix this. Just come back. I made a mistake." I didn't argue. I said, "You called me worthless in front of everyone. You wanted to run it without me, so do it." He reached out like he might grab the door, and I stepped back. I said, "We're done," and I shut it in his face. Now my family is saying I ruined everything by leaving. Was I wrong?